Greetings, my dear viewer. This is a channel about marital infidelity and about the consequences if one spouse starts to cheat on the other. If you, as well as I do, support true family values and condemn cheating, then subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Let's get started. For much of my life, I've been a quiet bystander, drawn to the turmoil and drama unfolding in other people's lives. My own existence had been steady, predictable, until it wasn't. My wife, whom we'll call Penelope, and I had been married for almost 7 years. While our marriage wasn't perfect, it had always felt stable to me, or so I had believed. We faced the typical hurdles any couple does, but none ever made me doubt the core of our relationship. That illusion came crashing down last week. It started as an ordinary evening. We had finished dinner and were relaxing on the couch, scrolling through our phones. Penelope seemed oddly withdrawn. When I asked if something was bothering her, she offered a strained smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Then, breaking the silence, she said, "We needed to talk." My chest tightened. You know that particular tone, the one that sends a chill down your spine. It's never the prelude to good news. Bracing myself, I urged her to continue. Whatever she was about to say, I could tell it was going to be significant. She hesitated before saying, "I've been thinking a lot about us and our relationship. I think we should try something new to deepen our connection." Her words left me bewildered. "What do you mean? Aren't we okay as we are?" I asked, genuinely baffled. She shook her head slowly. "No, we need something different, something exciting." Her vague reply sent unease creeping up my spine. "What exactly are you suggesting?" I pressed. Penelope took a deep breath, locking eyes with me. "I want to sleep with my boss," she said, her voice steady. "And I want you to watch." I froze, my mind struggling to process the words. "Please, let me explain before you react," she added quickly. "This could be a chance to explore something new in our relationship. You've always been more reserved, and he's so assertive. It could be exciting." I waited, hoping she'd laugh and reveal it was all some cruel joke, but no punchline came. She was completely serious. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My wife was proposing that I sit and watch her sleep with another man, her boss, no less. The absurdity was staggering. "Are you serious?" I finally managed to say, my voice a mix of shock and anger. Penelope's expression remained calm. "Yes. Tyler and I have discussed it, and he agrees it could be an eye-opening experience for us." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Wait, you've already talked to him about this? Have you slept with him?" I demanded, my voice trembling. "No," she replied sharply, "but I've thought about it. Watching him at work, seeing how confident he is, it made me curious. I swear nothing has happened between us. The most I've done is touch him once, just to see what it might feel like." Her words hit me like a blow. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I had trusted for years, seemed like a stranger. My thoughts raced, struggling to piece together the reality of what she had just revealed. Penelope continued, her tone soft but unwavering. "I love you. I really do. I love how respectful and considerate you are. But this is something I need to experience, just once. I think it could bring us closer." Her words made my stomach churn. I barely made it to the bathroom before I was vomiting. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I felt a crushing sense of failure. I wasn't submissive, as she claimed. I simply valued her opinions and tried to make our partnership work. But now, it all felt like a lie. When I returned to the bedroom, she was lying on her side of the bed, as if everything was normal. The thought of sharing the same space with her made my skin crawl, but I stayed. I needed answers. I needed proof. Later that night, once I was sure she was asleep, I unlocked her phone with trembling hands. Scrolling through her messages, I uncovered far more than I had feared. She and Tyler had been having an affair for weeks. Their texts were explicit, detailing their encounters and making plans for more. My stomach turned as I read Tyler's smug remarks about how I wasn't enough for her and how much he looked forward to humiliating me by making me watch. It was clear Tyler had manipulated her, and she had let him. Unable to sleep, I moved to the couch, my mind racing. By morning, I had made up my mind. After Penelope left for work, I searched for Tyler's wife online. We had met briefly at company events, and I hoped she'd remember me. She deserved to know the truth. I sent her a message explaining everything. To my surprise, she responded almost immediately, shocked and heartbroken. We arranged to meet in person. When we met, I was struck by her composure. Despite the betrayal, she carried herself with dignity. I shared everything I had found, including screenshots of the messages. Though she broke down in tears, she quickly regained her strength. "We can't let them get away with this," she said with determination. I nodded in agreement. Her resilience inspired me. Although our lives had been upended, we resolved to take control of the situation. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but for the first time in days, I felt like I had a purpose. The moment she resolved to proceed with the divorce, I fully supported the decision. A friend of hers, well-versed in the legal intricacies of separation, helped guide us through the process. The laws, unsurprisingly, don't seem to lean in favor of men, but I was ready to face whatever was necessary to break free from my unfaithful wife. It's been 3 days since that pivotal choice. In the meantime, I've stayed in close contact with Tyler's wife, providing one another with solace amidst this turmoil. Tyler's wife, let's call her Violet, has temporarily moved in with her parents to avoid direct confrontation with her husband. Meanwhile, Tyler and Penelope are shamelessly indulging in their affair. Penelope arrives home late every night, and there's no mystery about where she's been. Not that it bothers me anymore. Mentally, I've already started moving forward. Now, it's just a matter of waiting for the day she's officially out of my life. Our lawyer estimates it will take around 2 weeks to finalize the paperwork. In the meantime, Penelope continues to pitch absurd ideas as if we're on good terms. I'll share more details once I've dealt with the mess she's left behind. Here's a reality check for Penelope. Not everyone is interested in her twisted ideas of excitement. It's almost laughable how far she's gone. While some couples turn to new hobbies or adventures to rejuvenate their relationship, Penelope decided that having her husband stand by as an audience to her infidelity was the answer. If nothing else, I take comfort in knowing I narrowly escaped the most misguided attempt at repairing a marriage I've ever encountered. Update 1. Let's delve into what happened next. Violet and I, both fed up with our deceitful partners, decided to form an alliance. Our initial plan was simple: blindside them with divorce filings and remove them from our lives for good. However, Violet had a more audacious idea. Tired of the humiliation, she wanted them to experience a taste of their own betrayal. Her plan? To orchestrate a situation where they would catch us in a compromising position. At first, I assumed she was joking, but her serious demeanor quickly dispelled that notion. I'll admit, I found myself drawn to her, not just because of her striking appearance, but because of her strength and composure in the midst of all this chaos. Having someone equally committed to navigating this ordeal was reassuring. While her idea was bold, I couldn't bring myself to go through with the staged makeout plan. That didn't stop Penelope from escalating things. One evening, she came home positively glowing, announcing that Tyler would visit the following night for their exciting plan. She even had the audacity to suggest it could rekindle our relationship. I played along just enough to record her deluded ramblings and kept Violet informed in real time. Enraged by Penelope's brazenness, Violet proposed a more dramatic act of retribution. Though I reined her in from going too far, I couldn't deny the appeal of hitting back. After some back and forth, we agreed on a course of action. The following day, we both took time off to set the stage. While Penelope was at work, I changed the locks and packed her belongings into boxes. Violet, fueled by anger, took a more destructive approach with Tyler's possessions, tearing his clothes, ruining his shoes, and smashing his perfumes. That evening, when Penelope and Tyler arrived, they were greeted by deafening music blasting through strategically placed speakers. After struggling with the locked door, they made their way to the backyard. Through a partially open curtain, they glimpsed Violet and me standing close together, our movements staged just enough to suggest intimacy. Their pale faces and frantic reactions were priceless. As they pounded on the window and shouted in frustration, I calmly tossed Penelope's boxed belongings out from the upstairs window. One box nearly hit Tyler, sparking a loud argument between the two right there in the yard. I sent Penelope a voice message detailing the evidence I had gathered against her and warned her not to push her luck. Violet, not one to be outdone, threw her wedding ring and house key at Tyler, declaring their marriage officially over. The chaos culminated with Tyler pleading for a second chance, throwing Penelope under the bus in the process. Penelope retaliated by accusing him of masterminding their affair. Their desperate blame game only ended when a neighbor threatened to call the police if they didn't quiet down. Afterward, Violet broke down, and I stayed with her to provide comfort. We spent the night talking about the red flags we'd ignored in our relationships. By morning, she returned to her parents' house, and we've stayed in touch daily since. The divorce papers should arrive soon, and I'll provide another update when they do. Update 2. The fallout was more intense than I anticipated. While I hadn't predicted this level of drama, I can't say I regret how everything unfolded. Stay tuned for what's next. Violet and I made the mutual decision to end our marriages, a choice that left Penelope and Tyler in turmoil. Despite the distress, Violet didn't go easy on Tyler. She claimed ownership of his home and sought substantial financial restitution, citing the emotional trauma he had caused her. It soon became evident that Tyler had been manipulating Violet for a long time. After their divorce and alimony arrangements were finalized, Violet took things a step further. She ensured Tyler lost his job by sending detailed emails to their company's HR department, exposing his misconduct. The chat logs I uncovered supported her claims, revealing that the two of them had engaged in inappropriate behavior at work after hours. To make matters worse, Penelope confessed on the very first day of discovery that she had crossed professional boundaries with Tyler in his office during off hours. This admission led to both of them being fired. Their lives quickly unraveled. Before the divorce proceedings even began, Penelope desperately tried to reach out to me through every available channel. I chose to ignore her attempts, knowing that eventually I'd have to face her. However, I wasn't ready for that conversation at the time. In the end, we opted for an out-of-court settlement, following my lawyer's advice that it would be the most pragmatic solution. Before finalizing the settlement, Penelope insisted on speaking with me. Reluctantly, I agreed. During our conversation, she tearfully apologized, claiming she hadn't realized our marriage was so fragile that it could collapse over what she perceived as a minor mistake. She admitted to believing our relationship was stronger, only to discover how wrong she had been. I listened patiently before responding. I called out her manipulation, pointing out how she began with an apology only to twist the narrative and suggest that I was overreacting. So, having an affair with your boss and humiliating me is just a minor lapse in judgment? I asked her. She tried to explain, insisting that her actions were meant to reignite the spark in our marriage. I let her continue until I'd had enough. Then I told her to stop. None of her justifications held any weight. The reality was undeniable. She had cheated, and her choices carried serious repercussions. Although Penelope appeared upset about the divorce, her real frustration seemed to stem from the fact that I had started dating Violet. According to Violet, Penelope even approached Tyler, pleading for reconciliation since they were both in similar situations. Tyler, however, dismissed her outright, calling her beneath his standards and labeling her a fleeting distraction. In some ways, Tyler's rejection was poetic justice for Penelope. She had orchestrated her own downfall, and now she had to face the consequences. Meanwhile, Tyler made several attempts to reach out to me, urging me to end things with Violet. He claimed that Penelope had been the one to initiate their affair and had merely used him for her own purposes. I wasn't convinced. I told him to stay out of my life and warned him that contacting me again would have serious repercussions. I already knew the truth. The messages between Tyler and Penelope made it clear that Tyler had planted the idea of the affair in her mind. Still, this didn't absolve Penelope of her responsibility. She was a grown woman, fully capable of making her own choices, and she had chosen to betray me. As for Violet and me, we're currently seeing each other. Are we serious? I don't know yet. Neither of us is in a hurry to jump back into marriage. For now, we're enjoying each other's company and taking things one day at a time. Only time will reveal what's in store for us. Thank you for taking the time to read this. It's astonishing how easily some people try to downplay their actions, as if betrayal and humiliation can be brushed aside like insignificant missteps. My friend, and this is the end of the story. If you liked this story, then put your royal like and subscribe to the channel. May the force be with you.